Today we're taking some simple grilled chicken wings and we're going to turn them into something a bit special. Hi, welcome along to Barbecue Life, where great barbecue doesn't have to cost a fortune. As I said at the top of the video, today we're doing some grilled chicken wings on the Kamado Bono behind me. But we're putting a little twist on them as well. We're going to brine them in some pickle juice, so gherkin juice. So the juice that I'm using is from my recipe that I did a few weeks ago. So a few videos ago I taught you how to do pickles in 3 different flavours. We're going to mix them up and brine some chicken wings into it. So it is as simple as that. We need to make sure that our pickling brine is free of the chilies that we put in one of the jars, the dill and well, we're going to leave the mustard seeds in actually, but the dill that was in one of the jars and the garlic that was in the other jar. We need to fish all of those out and then combine all of those flavours into a jug and pop them off to one side. So we've got some chicken wings. So these are just standard Asda's chicken wings, nothing special going on here. And we're going to get these into some Ziploc bags. So I've split them down into 2 bags. If you've got bigger bags then you can put them all in together, but I'm not going to fit them all in and get the liquid dispersed across the top of them. So I've split them into 2 bags, and then we just need to get that liquid and pour that over the top and get it nice and even as best you can, and then squeeze all the air out the bag. Make sure you don't have any liquid come flying out the top. Get them into a bowl, because just in case them Ziploc bags leak, and put them in the fridge for 5 hours. That's the really special bit. The rest of this video is as simple as it can come. So the reason that we do brining is because it adds moisture to meat and it can make meat more tender. So that's exactly what this pickle juice is going to do. It's got some salt in there, which is going to help us penetrate into the meat, and it's got some vinegar in there, which is going to help tenderise the meat. But it's also got all these wonderful flavours from the garlic and the chilli and the dill and the pickles, the cucumbers that was in there originally. Now I've mixed all these 3 together before and I know they work together really well, but if you just want to use pickle juice out of a standard pickle jar because you can't be bothered to make your own, that's completely up to you. It will work exactly the same. Big jar of pickles, once you've eaten them all, save that juice in the fridge. You've got to make sure it stays refrigerated. Don't take it out once you've finished and leave it a few weeks. Keep it refrigerated until it's time to use it, and then just use exactly the same method. Now we're brining these for 5 hours. Seems like a strange amount, but 6 hours I find is too much. It breaks the chicken wing down too much, and 4 hours isn't enough. I can't get the subtle hint of the brine flavour within the chicken. So 5 hours is definitely where I want to take it to. So after them 5 hours, off camera, I've taken them out of the bags, I've laid them out on a rack, and I've left them in the fridge for an hour to air dry, because they are really, really moist. And we want to be able to get a crispier skin, you need to dry them out a bit more. You can use paper towel, and if you want to you can rinse them off before your drying stage. So I did do that if I had sort of some mustard seeds and things still stuck to the chicken wings. I did give them a rinse just to get rid of that, because I don't want them mustard seeds going on the grill and burning. That's going to give me a real bitter taste. So they've had an hour on that drying rack, and now we need to go on with some rub. So of course today I've gone on with my umami oomph powder, but you can use any rub you like. The only thing I will say is, because we're direct grilling, don't use anything with a too high sugar content, because it will just caramelise and burn. And don't use anything too overpowering, because then you are just going to overpower that slightly pickle flavour that you're going to get. So something nice and just elevating like the umami oomph powder is ideal for that, or something garlicky based like the Rusty Barbecue Company's herby garlic butter will work absolutely fantastic, or a simple dusting of just a chicken spice, but nothing too overpowering, because you'll just knock the pickling flavour out. So we've given it a dusting of the umami oomph powder. I've left a few that are just plain as well, so I can taste the difference. But the vast majority have been covered in umami oomph powder. Get them back in the fridge while we're going to get our Kamado set up. So we're going in with Texas Club charcoal and a couple of fire lighters in the bottom. Just get them lit. We don't need any deflectors or anything in here today. We're going for that direct grilling on the very top level. So we've got a fair distance between where that charcoal is and the chicken is. So although we've got that direct heat up there, it's not going to be absolutely blazing away. If you used to do this on like a Weber kettle, then you need to make sure that you've got 2-zone cooking so that you can move your chicken wings away from that direct heat but still have the direct heat to get a bit of colour. So that's ideal. When we're direct grilling on the Kamado, it is ideal because you've got that distance away and you can move things right to the outer ring and you still get a semi direct cook, but it's not completely over the charcoal because of the way that the bowl kind of tapers out up here. Unless you filled your bowl completely to the top with charcoal, which you're not going to need, you do have a kind of an indirect zone, a bit of a safer zone around that outside. So temperature wise, we're aiming for about 180, 200 degrees C today, so not, as I say, not blazing hot, but enough to give us a nice bit of colour. We've got our grill grates in and we're just going to get these chicken wings onto that grate nice and direct. Now the trick to this is understanding that you're going to have hotter spots and cooler spots, like we were just saying. Them outer edges are going to be slightly cooler, the middle is going to be even hotter. So once we're cooking these, so every 3 or 4 minutes you want to be going in and moving them. You want to flip them over. If you've got a lot of colour on one side, swap it with one that doesn't have a lot of colour, so that we're building the colour evenly and we're cooking our chicken wings evenly. If we just blister all the ones in the middle and we leave the ones around the outside without having the colour, they're not going to be as cooked. You're going to end up with raw chicken, especially if you only go in and check the temperature of one, and it tends to be the most cooked one is the one that people go to, and then ones around the outside aren't going to be up to the higher temperature. So we're just, every 4 minutes we're going in flipping and just keeping things moving, building colour and moving things around. So you can see the ones with the umami milk powder, they've really taken on a nice bit of colour on there. And the 4 plain ones, they are taking on colour but not quite as much. But we're still getting a nice crisp on that skin as well. We need to be checking for temperature before we can eat them. So safe for chicken, as you know, is 74 degrees. But chicken wings, I want to be taking them at least 10 degrees higher. I tend to take them to 88, 89 because I think it really breaks the chicken down more and it gives you a nice clean bite off the bone. Where if we only take to 74, they tend to be a bit chewier and not quite as tender. So I'll take them right up to 88, 89 degrees. We've checked a few chicken wings and we are happy that they are all up to that temperature. It's time to take them off, pop them onto a plate and give them a taste. They smell amazing. So split this in half. Well, that bit's pulled off the bone quite nicely. So there is definitely a hint of pickle flavour, like dill, like your standard, like pickles, gherkins. The garlic and the chilli hasn't come through too much, but I think it's just because everything all blended in with each other. There is still a very, very subtle sort of pickled flavour, but it's not overpowering. And it works really well. I've really enjoyed that. The chicken's definitely nice and tender. It's probably slightly more tender than it would have been if we hadn't brined them. So yeah, I think they work really, really well. So if you like what we're doing here at Barbecue Life, then please do subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video, leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and thank you very much for watching. Cheers.